and welcome to another edition of Addition. I'm your host, Addie Snowden. I'm a quantum life coach helping 7 people each week jump into the reality of their dreams. You can book a coaching call with me at calendly.com/additionpod. Before I get into today's episode, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit a like and subscribe. You can follow me on LinkedIn, Addie Snowden, IG and TikTok, Addition with Addie, Twitter at AdditionPod, also Threads at Addition with Addie, and Twitter for my personal Twitter at Addie Adewusi. And you can subscribe to the Substack so you never miss an update, additionpod.substack.com. I'm also accepting sponsors. You can email me at additionpod@gmail.com. Okay, for those of you who are watching on video, you can see I have a special guest, my lovely wife here, Jolene Snowden. You guys, I've been begging her to come on the podcast several times. And she has finally agreed to come on the podcast with me today. So thank you so much, Jolene, for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So introduce yourself because you have recently launched something new. Tell us all about it.
Well, I am Jay Snow. I offer a luxury tarot experience. You can follow me on all social media platforms, basically. So YouTube, Instagram, TikTok are all _Jay Snow, Jayy Snow, like the weather. I do live all signs tarot readings. I also do live streaming. So I live stream in the mornings at Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, 8 a.m. usually to about 9:30 and 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. as well. We have a lot of fun. I talk about the hot topics. I am a celebrity gossip enthusiast as well as and I also do celebrity gossip and integrate tarot into celebrity gossip. How I do that is I do predictions based on questions I want to know or my viewers submit. And we have a lot of fun. And I also do an all signs for love, money, and career.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jolene, or Jay Snow. So fun fact, the first night that we met, I did a tarot reading. So tarot is something we're both super kind of geeked out about. And I'm so excited. It's been such a blast watching Jolene on her lives. They're incredibly entertaining and so useful, specifically for me, for work and career and business. And a lot of the Addition listeners are people who are really passionate about their career. So stick with me. You may have never heard about tarot before. You may think this is woo-woo, but when I say this will help you accelerate your career, believe me. So Jolene, what is luxury tarot?
So luxury tarot is an experience that I specifically have provided and am providing. I use a series of different tools. I am a spiritual practitioner, so I use tarot as my main tool of helping you navigate whatever it is you're coming to me to navigate. But I also have a whole spiritual toolkit that I arm you with and integrate into my reading to help you navigate whatever concerns or clarity that you need to bring into your life. So I call it and say that it's a luxury tarot experience simply because I'm using way more than you typically get when you have a tarot reading. I'm so sorry, guys. That is, when you have a tarot reading, typically you're usually, I think actually when people think about a tarot reading, they think about the tarot scene we see in movies where we have our Miss Cleo kind of witchy lady with our turban on and our crystal ball and tell me what you see, right? I'm looking into your future. I don't actually have any of that. I do use crystals, and those are part of the ambiance, part of the scene. And crystals have their own power and tools within the practice, but I'm actually using cards, and I'm also using your guides. I'm using my angel connections to tap into not only my intuition, but your intuition to understand these symbols so that I can understand and interpret these symbols in order to help you understand and navigate whatever questions you are coming to me to help you understand and navigate. So for example, I recommend the Jay Snow Morning Tarot Show for professionals because it's typically focused on money, career, and work. And all professionals are always concerned with money, career, and work. So you get a little taste if you've never had any experience with tarot before. But to be honest, to understand what a luxury tarot experience is something that only I am providing right now. So you really have to book with me.
Absolutely. Yes, the link to book with Jolene will be in the show notes as per usual. So let's talk about like the average professional at a company. And I know people like this have come to you to do tarot readings. What types of questions would be a good question to ask you as a luxury tarot expert? Like, what problems are you solving for these professionals?
I feel like for professionals, I'm typically helping them navigate work stress. And if it's not work stress, it's navigating work stress that is preventing them from conquering any other part of their life. What do I mean by that? They are navigating their work stress, but because they are so on top of their work stress, they don't have any time to do any dating. They don't ever understand that anybody in their orbit is even paying attention to them because they're so focused on work. They are confused about how their boss feels about them because they're so off base and they're not grounded. They just need really a lot of help understanding what's really going on. They sometimes, I think this happens to all of us, where we get really caught up in our own world. We get caught up in how we perceive things and we lose our ability to get perspective. And that's one thing tarot is always going to help you do, is gain that perspective and that clarity.
Absolutely. So sounds like questions about their job security. Like, for example, layoffs are happening. You know, that would be something. If you're staying up at night, you can't sleep, you're having poor relationships with your family because you're concerned about layoffs, it is worth it to invest in a luxury tarot reading.
Absolutely. Investing in luxury tarot readings regularly, right? Because you are going to encounter so many different elements and questions. And I feel like once you have clarity in one area, what the element that helps you get ahead is, now that you understand a certain perspective that you weren't able to see until you had this tarot reading, you can't get past it. You're hitting a wall. You can't understand that you don't need to be worried about job security because your manager has all of his own stuff going on, right? Or this is above you. This is not even, just certain intimate details about whatever your specific situation is. It's basically a sight into the unknown. So wondering what's going on with your company, wondering what's going on, how other people feel about you, wondering what's going on with your money, right? What's going on with how these things are affecting you. It's an invaluable tool.
Yeah. So something we talk about, because we're married, so we talk a lot, is about how much spirituality is gate kept in career. Like, for example, instead of telling people to, seek spiritual guidance, talk to someone like Jolene, they'll say, oh, here's a course to take on how to communicate with stakeholders. When it's like, oh, I'm having an issue with my manager. Here's a communication course, as opposed to, whereas like people at the higher levels, which we've seen, for example, Silicon Valley, the CEO of Hawai'i had a spiritual advisor that was with him at all times. And that is not uncommon. And it's really common to have a coach, spiritual advisor. I mean, for the average American, that's maybe their pastor, right? But there's so many other options in addition to what you can get out of church. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on why you think spirituality is gatekept from career, why it's seen as separate, things like that.
I could talk about this for hours. And the fact of the matter is, it is proven. It is something that is hidden in plain sight. The gatekeeping is so real. But if you look at anybody in a place or position of power, and sometimes it's hidden in plain sight, like I said, but they always, always, always have some form of spiritual practice. Okay. Or they are part of a greater spiritual community, right? We all know a lot of spiritual communities typically house a lot of the income and wealth in our countries and in our communities, right? So there's a reason for that. And I think might have been Maya Angelou, or Angelo, however you say it. She had speech where she talked about how there's a part of you that can walk into a room and everybody sees you, you grab everybody's attention, and you're wondering what that is. And it's their spirituality, it's their ancestors, it's them calling on the greater part of their own being, the part of themselves that they can tap into outside of themselves that makes their aura, their energy so much bigger. So like you just said, there are so many different tools that help you access spirituality. Church is one of them. Tarot is one of them. The list goes on and on and on and on. But I do think tarot is an excellent foundational spiritual tool because the insight that it gives you, especially regarding your career, is transformational. It has been transformational and pivotal for me even. I personally have been getting tarot readings. I know this is going to sound so crazy and so funny, but I've been getting tarot readings since I was like 14 years old. No joke. Okay. I have my own spiritual guide that I just recently stopped going to as much because I have been relying on my own navigation and intuition way more. But I started using tarot cards as well as 16 because back when the bookstore and going to the bookstore was a normal thing, I found a tarot book and I immediately fell in love and have been practicing my craft ever since then. So, and I'm very proud of my life. I mean, look at my wife. She's amazing. She's intelligent. She's beautiful. I love my whole life. And for me to not acknowledge the power and the impact that tarot has had on my life would be incredibly diminishing of the power that this tool has helped me.
No, absolutely. I feel like I can completely relate to that. Like, I started getting my tarot or even reading my own cards later, like it was after college. But so many of big decisions I made, like for example, moving to Florida, moving away from Florida, job stuff. Like a lot of this, if I wasn't watching like tarot YouTubers to get a sense check, I was finding in-person readers or I was reading my own cards, and and reading the tarot gave me so much confidence in the decision that I was making. And I'd never really thought of that as like an advantage or a privilege because so many, because it's just so ingrained in my day to day.
Part of your practice.
Yeah, tarot is just such an ingrained part of my practice. I never thought about as being a competitive advantage, but I think about people who haven't been, don't have that sense check with tarot, and they're just making decisions and second guessing every step of the way. Have you experienced?
I have experienced. I even have a term for it. I hope it's not too rough on.
Let's not use that term.
Okay, I won't use that term. But it's definitely makes it a lot harder, and it's just too rough. You know what I mean? And it's like you can go through life and do things in a lot harder fashion. You can go through life and do things without help, but why? It just doesn't really make sense to not take the help, to not access the tools that are there for you. This is something that is really just intuition based, right? It uses your own understanding and interpretation of what you're seeing or what I as a reader am seeing for you. So it's just to help you.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. So what are some reasons people object to tarot?
So tarot has a lot of negative connotations, unfortunately. I think mostly because people don't understand it. I think also there are some religious connotations that I think are honestly people getting the words misconstrued. And I also think, if we look at literature, the witch has a bad rap, right? But nobody even really knows what a witch is if we're talking about it, if we are really being honest. And I think what can be misconstrued is using the tools that are available to us in order to help you advance. And people, that's part of the gatekeeping, right? Shaming people out of using what people know will help you get an advantage. And what is always interesting and funny about that is the very thing that they're going to shame you and tell you not to use to get your advantage, they're using it. They're doing it. I feel like if you've ever watched a lot of reality TV everywhere, right? When you go out of the country, there's always psychics. There's always people doing tarot readings, doing different forms of spirituality in order to help you. It's a gift, and our gifts are meant to be shared upon the world. So as a tarot reader, that's what I personally am always doing. I'm not ever doing anything to bring harm or damage to your life. I love helping people, in all honesty, to a fault. So, I also believe very much in karma. I truly, to my core, believe in being not even just a good person, but truly the best person I can be. So I will never tell you something for my own or any type of negative gain or advantage, because I don't like karmic debt. Not fun.
No, thanks so much for sharing that. I think about in our 25th anniversary party for Google, there were 2 tarot readers. And when I tell you the line was out the door, so it's like, I mean, someone had this idea that, oh, it would be part of our celebration. Let's bring in some psychic readers, and everyone was so excited to get their reading. I think the word gift is so accurate. Okay, so we're almost done. Would you like to, is there anything else that we didn't get a chance to cover that you would like to share with the community?
I just want to encourage all professionals. If you needed a sign on whether you wanted to start incorporating a new tool into your career, and a career that not everyone is using, a career that can be completely personalized to you, this is it. J Snow Luxury Tarot is fully dedicated to helping all professionals not just do well, but completely excel in not even just your career, but in your path, in your journey. If you are confused, if you're unhappy, if you're not sure about what's next, you're feeling job insecurity, like you said, worried about money, worried about finances, worried about your love life, worried about what's next, that stuck feeling, I can help you. It is truly my gift. It's something that I have been doing. Like I told you guys, I've been doing this since I was 15 years old. If it wasn't my gift, and I found it at Barnes and Noble, Barnes and Noble in book era. If you guys are I'm telling my age, right? So for me to have found that book in all of the books at Barnes and Noble and still be, using that tool, it's been an incredibly powerful tool in my life. And I just want you to know, if you're stuck, if you're wondering what to do next, please let me help you. It's going to change your life.
Thanks so much, Jolene. And definitely check her out. She's at JAYY Snow on all social media platforms. She does her the morning show on Monday, Tuesday, and Fridays. And she has her evening shows also Monday, Tuesday, and Fridays. So if you want to catch her live, and she has a ton of content on her YouTube. It's at JAYY Snow YT. So check out her YouTube if you get a sense of how she is, because you're really missing out if you don't explore her content. So yes, thank you so much for coming on the show. You're welcome back anytime, obviously.
Thank you.
Additional listeners, we didn't do career segment. We didn't do what I'm geeked out about this week, but what I'm geeked out about this week is tarot with J Snow. I've been listening to every single one of her lives. I've listened, and her morning show is by far my favorite. I'm encouraging her to start putting it on LinkedIn because it's so great. And yes, book a luxury reading with her. If you want to see my testimonial, you can go on my socials, because I posted a video explaining my experience with J Snow Tarot. Obviously biased, but it's true. So yes, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, I'll stop the recording. And thanks for the streamers. Thanks for watching, streamers. Yay.
And then it's fun because you can click here and you can see where they're watching. So 2 on YouTube, 1 on Twitch.
2 on YouTube, 1 on Trip. Perfect. Yay.